shift.
Yeah, the fixed mindset.
Yeah, he's got a fixed mindset.
Yes, yes, I know. And I wish I had worked through that so that I had advice to give.
Hey everybody, it's your host Amber here, MLM strategist and entrepreneur who has worked with thousands of network marketers and influencers and entrepreneurs in your space, helping to brand them, systemize them, and grow their downline on a global level. Creative director with AK Social House and your host of the Behind Her Boom podcast, providing you with proven, simple, and actionable steps to build your authority and your brand so you can stand out from those sideline sisters. Inspiring you with our special guest to think big and grow to 7 figures and beyond. Let's go.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Behind Her Boom podcast, changing it to Behind the Boom because we've had lots of guys, not lots, but we're having some guys on here, couples on here lately, more like couples, couples in business that are thriving. So today I am so excited because I have one of the most amazing beauty influencers on the planet. I'm actually obsessed and switching my whole line after watching her tutorials and watching her reels and messaging her all the time. Like, oh my goodness, your glow is insane. And she is a top seller, top income earner with Seint Beauty. If you haven't heard of them yet, they are quite new because they're only available right now in the US only, right? US and Canada? US and Canada. US and Canada. And I have Chelsi Wooten on here. She's going to chat a little bit about her opportunity, what has led her to this, because she did start in the health field and just really wanted to make an impact and be able to help others, and really quickly realize that she can do that and create time freedom and be home with her little ones, and be able to help so many women feel confident, feel beautiful in what she's doing. And I'm super excited to chat with you today. So welcome to the show, Chelsi.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. When you asked me to be interviewed on your podcast, I literally had to stop and pinch myself. So thank you so much for this opportunity. My goal, I've already expressed this out into the universe. If this even touches the ears of one woman and it inspires her, mission accomplished for me. So thank you so much.
Perfect. I love that too. And that's exactly where I feel with having this podcast in general, and just giving people and giving these women the opportunity to know that you all have an equal opportunity to go out and crush it. You hear these inspiring stories and you hear so much, motivation and impact that people are having to the world. But the reality is, as soon as you get your mindset right and kind of take a step back and say, hey, I can do that too. I have something to offer. Everybody has an option and opportunity to really create some massive success here. So tell me a little bit, and tell us a little bit about where your journey began and getting into Seint and how it all led to where you are today.
Yeah. So how did I get here? That is such a loaded question. I really, truly believe that it's all part of our divine plan. And when you have a moment where you feel like you've landed exactly where you meant to be, it's the most beautiful thing. But analytically, how did I get into Seint? It was 100% after COVID, the COVID era. In your introduction, you mentioned that I'm a mom and a wife and I worked in healthcare, and that's my story. I went to school to learn the trade of being a dental hygienist, and I literally thought I would clean teeth until my hands no longer worked. I loved my career, had such a huge passion in really the patient care. That's where I thrived, was helping others and having that interaction with my patients and just those connections. But after COVID and having that extended time off of work, it really opened my eyes to the fact that I was missing out on so much of my kids' life. So we got 6 to 8 weeks of interrupted time together during COVID, as did, so many people. And what I realized was that I loved my job and career, but I was missing out on so much, and I loved my family, my kids more. So I just became really open to the idea of something different. And that was the first time in my life I had ever let my mind take me to that place. I'm I'm open for something that is better going to serve me. I had tried to be a stay-at-home mom when my second was born for a little bit, and I quickly discovered being a stay-at-home mom wasn't for me. My career was super important to me, and I needed to figure out how I didn't have to choose between my career and my family. I really want to elaborate on this story a little bit more later, but long story short, the opportunity was asked to me at the right time when I was so open-minded for something, and I said yes, jumped in, had no expectations or really idea where it was going to lead me. And 3 years later, through the process and the journey, here I am. We don't like to make income claims or anything like that, but after working my business for a solid 3 or 4 months, I was able to to leave my 9 to 5. And that was an incredible.
Wow. So you can do the math. You don't even have to drop
Yeah.
numbers. I mean, somebody can
Right.
do the math to know what, what you've been able to accomplish in those couple of months.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what do you tell somebody who's thinking of, there's people that are obviously thinking of, making a shift, but they don't ever think that they're going to leave their 9 to 5. That's usually not the assumption when they jump into a network marketing opportunity. It's always the assumption of a side hustle. But
Right.
I try to teach our viewers and even clients that I work with to not go into it as with a side hustle mindset, because then you're going to put side hustle time into it and side hustle energy into it. Versus if it was a career shift, you would put so much more. Like if you actually left your dental hygienist, opportunity for like to actually go and work with another dentist, you'd have that complete mentality of like, I need to show up, I need to prove myself, I need to put in that extra time and really make something. So why not go into your opportunity, with a side hustle with that same sort of mentality?
Yeah, I think it's all a belief. It's all about your beliefs. So you use the word side hustle. I like to use the word hobby, but same thing. It's like if you come into this with hobby work ethic, hobby mindset, hobby mentality, you're going to get hobby results. And typically hobbies cost us money. So I always like to say, this type of business, it's a self-guided journey, and what you put into it is 100% what you're going to get out of it. So yeah, I like to lead with the belief and the mindset. And I think that that's a huge part of for me, what this experience has been. I have been able to sort of uncover and just discover so much of myself, like my truest version of myself. And to me, that's really what leads us to happiness and fulfillment, is being able to be our truest self.
And do you feel like you're a totally different person than what you were 3 or 4 years ago before you were even working Seint?
100%. Like it's unrecognizable for me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's because we even talk about like the people that you associate with, or like your community, like who is your friends, and the friends that you have, when you're in network marketing versus the friends that you had, let's say you're 5 years or 3 years into the business. It's like they're totally different. Not to say like, oh, I just dropped my friends, I got new friends. But when things shift and you grow as a person, you have these different likabilities, this different energy shift, a different things that you're kind of moving towards and passion and growing towards. So do you feel like you've had a little bit of shift in that sense as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's like you want to surround yourself by people that inspire you.
Right.
And, sometimes things organically happen. And when people aren't on that same journey as you don't have to like break up with your friends or start a new life, but it just happens. And conversations change when you're with your friends. I mean, we have an amazing group of friends that the majority of them are entrepreneurs, and we love cheering each other on in our businesses. And the men are always, talking about things when they're together, and us women, we're, usually taking care of the kids and, blabbing or whatever. But yeah, you're totally right. It's completely different. And when you're being inspired by others, you also want to, again, inspire people. So it's a great community to surround yourself with.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I love so much about network marketing in general, is just how people just come together and they're like their confidence is blowing up, their way of thinking is sort of blown up. And then we'll ask people that are not in network marketing, like, hey, do you know Eric Worre? Do you know Tony Robbins? Do you know Ed Milet? And you just assume that they like all know these people. Like, well, you don't know these people. You're not being inspired every day by those people. You're not listening. They're like, who is that? I'm like, really? But it's true. Like if you're not in this like space, in this mindset, in the entrepreneurial mindset, your stay-at-home mom friends that are not working or things like that, they may not know of who those people are and those conversations that are being had. And I do want to differentiate, because you're a work from home mom and you've got 2 little ones. I'm a work from home mom. I think there's a big difference between a stay-at-home mom and a work from home mom. And a lot of people think that, this hobby, I love that you call it a hobby, that this hobby or joining in network marketing is great for stay-at-home moms. But I think I think we can make a shift on that to say it's not always great for that stay-at-home mom, because if you're happy just being home and being that homemaker of, cooking and cleaning and looking after the home, that's a lot different than being a work from home mom, because you still need help.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And like I mentioned before, I tried out the whole, I want to be at home with my kids and be their caretaker. And that is such a hard job. That is the hardest, sometimes you could even say the most unglorious job out there. But a work from home mom is very different. So like right now, I actually, my kids are both in a summer school program. So I get to have kind of set hours where, yes, I dedicate working hours to my business. And part of my business journey here at Seint is also being a leader and a mentor. So, trying to keep that balance of pouring into my own business, but yet being an inspiring leader to others. And before I move on and forget, you said something earlier about your mindset. And I have to say this before the moment passes, but I used to have a very, very fixed mindset and really wasn't aware of that until I stepped into network marketing and realized that like my belief system was either going to help make me or break me. And I started leaning into personal development and discovering, why my brain and my heart and my mind works the way it works. And I'm not going to say it happened overnight, but someone that has a fixed mindset, you can absolutely move into a growth mindset. And to me, that's just the difference in like taking ownership for where you are now, where you're going to go, and telling yourself you are in control of the majority of those things. And to me, that's just the difference. Someone with a fixed mindset would say, I'm not this, or I am that. For example, a lot of women say, well, I'm introverted or I'm shy. And it's like, the more that you say that, you're going to believe that. And then those thoughts that you're telling yourself, they're going to limit your actions. And so I would say the number one thing for someone wanting to come into a space like this is just knowing that your mind, whatever hours you're putting into your business, you need to put into your mindset 100%.
I agree. I feel like even before you make a shift to want to get into network marketing or get into coaching or whatever it is that you want to just, be your own boss and get into that entrepreneurial type of atmosphere, like spend 30 days prior and just like work on this first before you get into it. Because I feel even for myself, if I would have done that first, I probably would have saved a good 6 months of struggle.
Yes.
And that feeling of like high, low, up, down, dips. I want to quit because it's so hard on you, and it's so hard on your energy and so hard in your head. And then you doubt yourself and your confidence goes up, your confidence goes down. You speak to one person, you feel like $1 million, you feel like now you're like, shit, I'm failing,
Yeah.
and if you would have taken that, 30 days or whatever it takes, and just, even if it was just reading a book and you just focus on knowing how to breathe through it, knowing how to work through, the ups and downs and the fluctuations of what being a business owner can do, you'd be able to take on, you get into network marketing, and then you get this hype and the momentum of joining a business. You want to reach out to everybody. And then all of a sudden you start getting, no. You'd be able to just like overpass that and not even just bring me on another one. I've heard about that. I've learned about that. I've learned how to bring that in and deal with it and keep on moving on. But I think when a lot of people get into this space, they get excited and they get hyped up. And then if they realize quickly that their tight little network of people aren't as excited about what they're doing as they are, then they can kind of diminish. And then that's what really leads to the most failure, I feel, in this industry. So if you come in with the right mindset.
100%. You said it, it's like network marketing it's a business based on beliefs. So belief in yourself, belief in others, belief in the industry, the product, the company, all of those things. And it's almost like you have to take yourself to therapy, like whether you go there or you're just reading books and doing podcasts, but that's such a huge part of it. Anytime any of the girls on my team come to me with a problem, I'm not kidding you, like 99% of the time it's a belief issue. And I'm able to just be like, listen to this podcast and come back to me and tell me
you'll be fine.
Yeah. And it makes you feel better because you're like, okay, it's okay to have these thoughts. It's okay to have these feelings. This is normal. This is part of the process. And that's another thing of like each stage of the process is crucial. So women come into this business, it doesn't matter what network marketing company they're with. There's someone in their business that they're idolizing, in their company that they're idolizing. And they immediately want to jump to where that person is at in their business. And it's like, no, you're at chapter 1, they're at chapter 25. And the journey, those chapters 1 through 24, that's the bread and butter of your business. That's where you're going to learn so much. You have to learn customer service to 1 before you can learn customer service to 100 and things like that. So the building blocks and all of that, it's the journey. It's what you go through along the way.
Do you feel like you've, just in your experience of the last few years of working and building your business and really taking that leadership role now that you've grown and scaled so much, do you feel like you've kind of created a system around that for new people coming in to kind of give them that point and path to success so that they can lead to where you've become?
Absolutely. I'm very blessed. I came in, had no idea, but I came in on one of the best teams in the business. Systems were already laid out. So basically a roadmap for your business is handed over to you in this company. And that's incredible. But of course, as my team grew or whatever, I adopted things along the way of my own. And for me, being a leader just means, like leaders do, they go first. Leadership is about what you do, not about what you say. So really I wake up every day just trying to be my best and set the best example for everyone else to follow. Yeah. It's like, I'll go first. To me, that's what leadership is.
Yeah, I agree. And then people are going to watch and want to follow along on that. What about people that are like new in social media and they kind of doubt themselves? Oh, I've got a couple hundred followers. I'm not going to be able to get there or get to that level. So maybe that's their main kind of bottleneck that's holding them back from wanting to join and move through with whatever network marketing opportunity it might be. How do you kind of handle that on your end?
Yes, there is such this just fixation on virality right now, right? Everyone thinks that going viral is it's like your ticket, but it is a lottery ticket, and not very many people, not very many people can go viral. It's harder to do than, especially now. Social media has just exploded. A couple of years ago, maybe it was a little bit easier. But I would say this whole focusing on your niche thing is probably an unpopular opinion, but I would say like, you are your niche, right? So don't worry about, I used to do this because it was really hammered like into my head very much so in the beginning. It was like, figure out your niche. And it made me feel like such a regular average person. I was like, I do not have a niche. And when I finally just came home to myself and showed up on social media as myself, trying to just connect and create Me Too moments, that is when I started getting those connections, which led to, followers, which then would lead to, maybe customers or business conversations or things like that. So I wouldn't really worry so much about how many followers you have or whatever, but, we're all equipped to best serve the person that we once were. So, who were you before you got into your network marketing business, or same with me. So I just love to serve that girl, that woman, and show up as myself. And again, just working on connections and not working on, how can I go viral today? Right.
Right. Yeah. And I think your social media is such a perfect example of that, because you show up, you're consistent, you're providing value, but you're being you're being raw, you're being authentic. And then you're giving people, like I said, I'm switching my makeup because I just, keep watching, obviously you're doing it in fast forward mode. So everything is like fast. And it looks like you're doing it in a minute. And I'm like, it's going to take me an hour and I don't have time for that. But, it makes it look so simple. And I think that's the biggest thing is people get kind of overwhelmed on social media and they think, oh, I can't live up to that, to that caliber. So then they kind of step back, but it's really just giving them that push to say, just go out and be you, find that product or that niche that really speaks to you. It's like, if you're not a makeup girl, don't get into makeup. If you're not a hair girl, don't get into hair products. If you're not wellness, you love Chick-fil-A is like your thing, probably don't get into wellness. It has to really relate to you and to what you really truly believe in, so that it comes off authentic and you're excited to share it. I think you've got to be really excited about the products and the business that you're in to be able to organically and naturally and authentically offer that to the world, because otherwise people will see right through it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Your business should be an extension of who you are.
Yeah.
When it comes off forced, people feel that and they know that then you're being salesy. And it's so funny too, because I caught myself a lot in the beginning saying things like, I'm not good at sales, or I know nothing about sales, or, I would even say one thing that we like to market joining our Seint business is you don't have to be good at sales. But I am so over that saying, because listen, everything in life is sales. Like getting my kids to go to bed on time or eat their vegetables or brush their teeth or whatever. That is, yeah. And we are selling ourselves every day. And then, even my former career as a hygienist, I was selling oral health to patients every day. And it's funny because I've said this so many times. I would have been a much better dental hygienist had I had the skill set and the mindset and the belief that I have now. I'd be like, well, you should probably floss your teeth, but if I could be more persuasive and convicting and show really the true value behind all those things, people are going to do it. And that's what this business is about. Create value and solve a problem, and the sales are going to follow.
I agree. I think that's with anything, whichever business it is that you decide to go into and move into. It's really about providing value, being yourself, and not trying to go in with the intention of sell, because it will come if it's of value and somebody sees the need for it and you speak about it the right way. And it's this kind of the same on our business. We go in, we talk about our systems and what it is that we have to offer, but you're going to see the value. It's not about here's a sales call and here's a pitch of what we offer. It's here's what others are doing to feel value, and that it could help you scale and grow in your business. So I think that's right for any company or any kind of niche that you go into. When it comes to working from home, having little ones at home, being a leader, and you are putting a lot of time and focus into your team and building your team and mentoring them and things like that, how do you find that balance of like you mentioned, having those 6 to 8 weeks of just dedicated family time that we all got to have, during COVID, which either was a blessing or a curse or a little bit of both.
Oh, I know.
But now coming into it and really finding that balance, like you mentioned, your kids are in summer school. I'm the same. I'm a work from home mom, but my kids are not here around while I'm working. They're in summer camp or whatnot. But you're still a work from home because you're not committed to a boss and have to go to work with committed hours. So how do you find balance in your life to do that?
Yeah, so a couple things for me have worked wonderfully. So one, just setting boundaries, whether that's working hours, whether that's putting my phone on do not disturb, literally leaving my phone at home, things like that. When you work from something like your phone or your computer, it's hard to have a disconnect from that. I'm not driving somewhere and clocking in and clocking out. So it's really easy to become a workaholic or overwork, which I definitely am guilty of doing that in the beginning. But I've really got a grasp on that because I started seeing myself as, staying up too late, working too long, things like that. So boundaries are super important. You have to set those. Whether you're a leader or not, and just your business hours, things like that. So boundaries are important. And then I would say number two, this one I might have just gotten a little bit more lucky, but my husband is so supportive. And I know that not all of us are that fortunate, but he's very supportive, helps me out whenever I need. I would say if you don't have a supportive spouse, I really, truly, it's sad, but that is so important. And then I would say the other thing is I involve my family in all of my goals. So my children, they don't just think mommy's on her phone. They know exactly what mommy's doing. My 5-year-old, he's so funny. He's heard me say the phrase like, hey, busy mamas a lot, like on my videos or whatever. And so he'll be like, hey, busy mama, like he knows. And my kids, it's like, what does your mommy do? She does makeup, they know. And I bring them through the journey with me. I'm like, mommy has this really big goal, or mommy has this or that. And they support me and they're a part of it. So I don't ever want them thinking that I'm just playing on my phone or that my phone is more important than them.
Right.
So those are some things that have really worked for me.
I've talked about, because most of the women that I have on this podcast are moms, and we've talked about it a lot, where having your children involved in your business is such an incredible thing, because growing up, I never knew what an entrepreneur was. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she was a stay-at-home mom. Like, she was just there making me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, playing Barbies, it was just a stay-at-home mom. And my dad worked, and I never knew what a business owner, an entrepreneur was. And we never seen like our parents on their phone or, head down and things like that. So even for us starting to build this business with little ones at home, I mean, getting them involved at such a young age, to know that I'm always embedding it in my kids' heads that you can work for yourself. Sure, there's opportunities that you can be a firefighter and you can be a doctor and you can be all these things that we're sort of programmed in that way to teach our children. But now we're more of like, you can be a business owner. If you like cars, you can just own an entire shop and you just sell all the cars. You just own all the cars. You don't have to just work, for the cars, or, just things like that. So really embedding them in on the wins, making them be a part of that. So I love when you said about, mommy's got a really big goal, and letting them be excited and work towards that. I've always found that if I have a big goal to achieve for the month, letting my kids know that, hey, if mommy achieves this, we're going to go to Disneyland, or we're going to go. I mean, I can say that because we're like 20 minutes to Disneyland.
Yeah,
So
I'm jealous.
it's a simple thing, but or we can, say if we make it here on Saturday, we're going to go, and do this because mommy did this, but I can only do this when I have your help. So that, if it is that pocket of time that I have that they're home and I need to hop on a call or work with clients or whatever that is I need to do, they know that and they respect that, but they also know that there's a win for them too. Mommy wins, I win, we all win together. And I think that's so much funner than just everybody, and we talked even about the spouses, like those connections of not having the support. But imagine you're so blessed, like you said, to have a supportive spouse, because that can truly make it or break it in your business. I mean, I've talked to women that are literally on the brink of like separation because they're just up on this pedestal and this high of wanting to go and crush it. And their husbands are just not there yet. They're just thinking, no, we married, you're going to be home with kids and you're going to do that. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to work. And it's such a shift.
Yeah, the fixed mindset.
Yeah, he's going to fix mindset.
Yes, I know. And I wish I had worked through that so that I had advice to give. But I would just say, like, know that you are worth, like, if that is your dream and that's your goal, just know that you're worth it. And he can either hop on board or not. And yeah, I think a big part of why career is so important to me is, I've talked about this to others too. It's like in our day and age, when we grew up, like, in the 80s or 90s, it was like our moms either stayed at home and that's what they did. They cleaned, they cooked, they made sure everything was done, or our parents had to be a 2-parent working household. And that's just how it was. There was no in between. I can't recall one single entrepreneur that I came encounter with as a child. And where was I going with the story? What were we talking about? I hate when I do that.
With the dynamic of what they are, like what we are now, where we are now with, working from home and having that opportunity and letting your children see it. You didn't, because you didn't see it. You're either watching your mom just be home, my mom's home, or watching my mom go to work every day, come back and make supper and we go to bed.
Yeah.
How different is it now? Like it's
and our kids get to watch us do something that we love. And I think I mean, I can't tell you one time that I ever grew up feeling like my parents loved what they did. It was like out of necessity.
Yeah, that's true too. Like how much did they just come home and just, I'm always mindful of like the expression on my face, even like around my toddler, I feel it's huge. Because if you're having like a shit day and like your face shows it, they know that. Even if I like don't wash all my makeup off and like I'm mascara under my eyes, but my daughter be like, Mommy, why did your face look so sad? I'm like, what? I'm happy. What's the matter? Why am I sad? But it'll be like makeup stuck and it looks like I would have cried or something, but it's like washing your face. They know all of that. So imagine if you're coming home from a job or something that you just is super stressful, you're not loving, it shows on your face, your kids see that, and then it plays out in the way they are in life. Are they happy? Are they excited? Are they sad? Their emotions, because they're just like a walking little mini version of us, right?
Just sponges in all the ways. Yeah. So, okay. I remember what I was getting at now. So career was just important to me. I was like, I want to be able to take care of myself. That has always been my goal. I didn't want to be reliant on anyone, let alone, a man or whatever. And so my career was just always super important to me. And I also grew up on a farm. I haven't added this in. I'm the only son, or I'm the only daughter. I only have brothers. I grew up on a farm, and my parents just showed this amazing example of just hard work and just work ethic. And when you live on a farm, there's always something to do from sun up until sundown. And it was like, I always had, my dad would help my mom with stuff inside the house, and my mom would help my dad with stuff outside of the house. And for me, even though my parents both had very traditional, like, old school kind of roles in a marriage, I still got to see that example of like how together, like, how well they work. So it's like, changing diapers and cooking meals isn't just a mom's job, and making the money and whatever isn't just the dad's job. And so I just love how really social selling and network marketing, it gives an everyday woman the opportunity to not have to choose between her career and her family. And to me, that's just, for a woman, with children and someone that values career, to me, that's just it's just the most wonderful gift. And I'm just forever thankful for this career opportunity. And not to say that it's for everyone. I don't think that social selling and network marketing is for everyone, nor is it easy, but it is very simple. It's like those that get it, and those that don't. You just have to be willing to do the mindset work, and the consistency is a huge factor. And just knowing that everything has a season, and, nothing is ever permanent, and things are gonna, there's different seasons in your business, even, your harvest, your spring, all those different things. And you just have to stay set, put your blinders on, and focus on your journey and no one else's, really.
Yeah, I like that too, because you're right. And focusing on your own journey, not allowing yourself to get caught up in others and caught up in the journey or the success of others. The stories are great, the testimonials are great, but when you focus on you and what works for you, the time that you want to put into it, what you want to get out of it is totally different than what somebody else might want to get out of it. Having your spouse on board, I would say it's not something that happens overnight, especially if you've tried, if you've bounced around and tried other MLM companies, and all of a sudden you're just like, I've done a mindset shift and I'm going for it. And this is what I'm going to do. And I need your 110% support. You kind of can't blame them to not have that, because they'll just be like, sure, honey, we'll see what it's going to be in the next 30 days, or I'm over it. I'm over you putting time into something that's not going to get you to that next level. And you're taking away time from us and from our family. So I totally get that. And I think my little bit of advice to somebody who's sort of in that space is to maybe keep it in to yourself, focus on you, give yourself some dedicated blocked time. Maybe it's just little 30-minute pockets throughout the day that you can just focus on you and your business and your mindset. And when you start winning and you start feeling in a place of, yeah, I've made the right choice. I know I've made that right choice. I'm starting to build, I'm starting to create momentum. And now you really have something. Now go back to your spouse and say, hey, for the last 90 days, I've been really working on something. And I've been working on it in these little pockets, so it doesn't take away from our family, it doesn't take away from my day job and whatnot. And I was kind of just keeping it here because I really wanted to prove it to myself first before I come out and share it with you and ask for your support and ask for maybe, a little bit more time. But I've done it for the last 90 days, and I've actually went from this to this. I'm actually now bringing in, 300, 500, 800. Hey, I just paid the car payment. I just made the mortgage payment. When you can start showing those things, automatically like light bulbs start to switch off on a man or on your spouse to say, maybe she's got something here. So what did you need from me? I'm not asking a whole lot, but maybe you could just help me at nighttime with like putting the little ones to bed. So I have that extra hour, to focus, or the extra 30 minutes to put into my business so that I'm not completely exhausted and we can go to bed together and have our own time. I think you would get a yes a lot faster than if you just said, I got a business in a box, I'm ready to rock. And they're just like, fuck, what did you spend for that? Like, you know what I mean? I think it's some good advice to
I love that. That is great advice, because how many times has someone encountered a business conversation where it's like, well, let me talk about this with my husband. And you're like, oh, great. I already know what your husband's going to say. So that is amazing advice. I do. I love that. I love that. And I hate to continue to brag, but like my husband is just, I want to just clone him and just hand him out, because
hand him out to your team.
Yeah. He's really been wonderful. And I never have to ask twice. Like, he'll actually do it. He'll be like, let me get the kids in bed. I know you, like I do Monday night calls with my team, usually at 8 p.m. my time. So, it's getting around to bedtime, and he's always on Monday nights. I can count on him. He will not make other plans. I mean, he's always, and then that's because we've communicated that. He knows on Monday nights I have these meetings, and to me, communication is everything. Yeah. And I let him know from the very beginning, like obviously what my goals are. I think some people are afraid to express their goals because of failure. But if you don't have a goal, written out on paper, what are you even doing? Right? You're just going through the motions every day. So I do think it's really important to set not only sustainable goals, but goals that are going to push you, because that's what this is all about. It's all about being like, how can I build the confidence in where I'm at now to now take it to the next level? If you would have asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago to be a guest on your podcast, I would have said, I have nothing to offer. I have nothing to share. I mean, it's like and it's so allow yourself that grace to know that you're not going to come into anything being an expert. You're not. Right.
And if you would have asked me 3 or 4 years ago to host a podcast, I'd be like, and talk about what? And talk to who?
Yes.
Yeah. you've got to just put yourself out there and you got to grow and you just got to put yourself in the line of fire and not care about what others are doing. It's no different, than this podcast or the business that I do or what you do. We could have went into it and say, there's lots of really successful Seint beauty artists out there, that are really crushing it. What do I have to offer? I could say the same with my business. There's others out there that are influencing, they're helping. What do I have to offer? But then where would we be today? I would still be home while I'd be an executive assistant, driving my Korean boss's Bentley around. That's what I'd be doing. It's just like, it's crazy of where things can go when you decide for yourself. I want more for myself. I want more for my family. There's more out there and I have something to offer. I'm so big on, I was always really excited about the wins that my team could get or the wins that clients could get or how I could see other people grow. But then I quickly realized, wow, I can help other people grow and scale and do things. And then I'm winning and I'm winning for my family too. And it's just such like a ripple effect of just everybody wins. And it's such an incredible thing. And you don't get that when you're just going and you're working and putting in the hours and clocking in and out every day. To be able to be like, I just impacted, like, oh, she grew. She's definitely making at least a couple $1,000s more a month because of me. Like, it's just such an impactful thing. And that's why I love the network marketing space so dearly, is because of this. You can take this ordinary woman, you can take this woman that has zero confidence, you can take somebody who lives in this little small town that has like no network of people, and you can just like form them into this incredible influencer that's growing. Not to say you're influencer with 1 million followers, you can be an influencer and have 500 followers and have a team of 20 people, and you are influencing them to change their lives too. It doesn't matter what level of influence you are. You can change a life, you make an impact. And like we had said in the start of this podcast, if this podcast just changes the life of one person, that's a win, right?
Yes. Yeah. If you don't mind, I'd like to elaborate on something just a little bit. So for me, I didn't like scroll through social media and find like, well, I'm just going to say Kat Fairchild. If you know who that is, she's made it so big with Seint. She's basically a celebrity, but it wasn't like I scrolled through social media and saw her and was like, I want her life, or I want to do that. For me, it was very much so different. It was really a deep rooted emotional thing for me. And so I find that I have this like really, really powerful, like full circle moment with Seint. And if you don't mind, I'm going to tell the story. So, as a young girl or a small child, I can remember looking in the mirror and saying to myself, like, I wonder if I'll ever feel beautiful. And I can remember that at a very young age. I already knew that beauty was a feeling, and it was just something that I didn't feel. Again, growing up on a farm, only having brothers, I was very tomboyish. I actually got mistaken for a boy a lot. I had really curly, short, red hair, lots of freckles, and I was very athletic. So of course, I just, oozed boy or whatever. And so, I never felt beautiful. And it was something that I knew was important. And when I came across people in my life, I could tell the difference between people who were just beautiful and people who felt beautiful. And to me, that was something. And I really held on to that for a long time. And so I'm going to fast forward to my adulthood. I graduated college. I moved into the city where I live now. And my goal was to find a career and a husband. And I knew that I was going to have to build my belief in myself a little bit more. Again, even just from how I felt about myself, or from a beauty standpoint. So I knew nothing about hair, makeup, none of it, but I loved it. And so I went to the internet, YouTube. There wasn't, I don't think Instagram was around at that time. So I went to like YouTube. And I literally Googled like how to curl your hair, how to do makeup. And I came across this beauty blogger, and she was captivating. She was beautiful. She was well-spoken. She wasn't selling anything. She was just teaching you. She was serving. She was teaching women how to love themselves. And I subscribed to everything. Her blog, I watched every video. And that beauty blogger's name was Kara Brooke. And if that name means nothing to you,
goodness.
she's the founder and CEO of Seint. I didn't know. She actually, so when Seint first came to be, it was actually called Mascara Beauty. Her name is Kara, so it's a play on her name. and I remembered I kind of watched her come out with this makeup line, and I was kind of like, what is that? Like, I just learned how to curl my hair. Of course I'm not going to contour. So I didn't try it. I didn't try the makeup for a while, but I watched her and I saw what she was doing. And that was in 2014. That is when Mascara Beauty came out on the market. And at that time, it was just an e-commerce. You could just shop online from her website. It was still just her passion project, her dream, whatever. In 2015 is when I had my daughter. And so I kind of disappeared for a while, right? So I turtle shelled for a while. My life did a complete 180. Now I'm a mom. And so my beauty routine and everything just looked different. And I can remember somewhere along the lines of like, probably 2019 or so, I started seeing Mascara Beauty on my social media. And I remembered being like, oh my gosh, she's made it. She's here. She's now in direct sales, this makeup company that she created. Like how incredible, how amazing. And I actually had ended up winning a giveaway on Instagram from another Seint artist. I won a couple products. And so actually got the products in my hand, saw them, felt them, touched them, absolutely fell in love with it. And I was like ready to get online and buy the product. I was like, I'm ready. I'm going to buy this. This is amazing. This makeup's going to change my life. Literally within the same week, someone near and dear to me reached out to me and told me, like, you'll never guess what, I just signed up to be a mascara artist. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is meant to be. Like, I've been wanting to try this makeup. I'm so excited. And it's actually my cousin. And she said to me, the words that came out of her mouth, like, forever have changed my life. She said to me, she said, nope, I'm not going to let you be a customer. I'm not going to let you buy it. She's like, you're going to do this with me. You were born to do this. I'm going to cry. And without even just thinking about it, I was like, okay, let's do it. And so here's what I do, Amber. I wake up every day and I try to think to myself, like, how can I be for other women what Carol was for me? Like, that's exactly what I do every day.
And you've made such an impact. Like, you have done such an incredible job in where you are and where you're leading to, where you're heading to. But you're getting up every day with something on your mind to not just, how can I get a sale or how can I sell a palette? It's how can I change somebody's life? How can I help somebody, right? How can I make an impact? And that's exactly what you're doing. I mean, just when we chatted, a few months ago, it impacted me. I was like, there's more to her. And I just connected with you automatically and thought, I need her on my podcast. I want to be around her more. I want to have her glow. There was just so many things. So I'm so glad that you shared that and that we tapped into that. And also to be able to be vulnerable, because I know it can get emotional if we all share our stories or share our success stories, or if it's not success, but it's the journey. I was on a podcast a few months ago and I had just suffered a miscarriage and I didn't even have family members that knew about it. And I literally 2 days later was flying to Utah to be on a podcast, which probably 3, 4, 5 years ago, there's no way in hell I would have gotten out of bed. My life would be over. But I'm almost 40 and I had IVF children. I could not get pregnant. Those were little miracle kids. One was a frozen embryo. So of course my husband was like, you don't need a pill and you can't get pregnant. We're good. And we were actually in the process of moving homes to be able to scale my business and be able to have that space in here to do podcasts, do everything. We moved in February. And I actually moved the entire house pregnant, not even knowing. I put a couch on my back. I had no idea. I was like lifting, carrying everything. So I went to the hospital because I was feeling really crappy. I'm like, oh, I probably have COVID. I was like making this joke about having COVID. And then the guy came, like the nurse came back with all his cover up gear on and said, I'm like, what do you got all that on? This looks like an episode of Grey's Anatomy. And he's like, well, because you tested positive, but you have COVID and you also tested positive and you're pregnant.
And you're like, what?
You shitting on me, like, for no and no. Like, I was like, I don't know what to say. And it was super emotional. But when you're a business owner, whatever it is that you do, and you're an entrepreneur, whether it's network marketing or what I do in helping, you can be vulnerable. It's so hard to be vulnerable because people are watching you and they're looking up to you and they're saying, you're there to help me. So for you to take a step back, and whether you're going through something in your marriage or your kids are sick or anything like that, it's so hard to be able to share and showcase all of that. But I think it's important because you're real and you're raw and you're authentic, and I'm human and I'm going through the emotions. I'm not living on this pedestal and everything is handed to me. I'm going through and building this business with my 2 babies, with my husband, whether you're supportive or not, you know, whether I'm working a day job or not, you go through and you do, and you connect with your audience and you connect with those people. And that's how you build a true community. You build a community of people that want to be inspired and they want to grow and you want to uplift them. So I was just, you know, sharing a little bit of that because you know, because you got vulnerable, you got, you know, emotional, and sometimes it's hard for us to do that, but you can tell that you are so passionate and that you're on the right direction, and that you were put into this, you know, into this position, in this place, in this territory for a reason, and it's a true gift. And I'm so excited for you, where you're going. Like, where can we see Chelsi 5 years from now? Because I know you're setting goals. You're setting goals. So what is that big goal for you? Where do you see yourself?
Right now, I'm really just trying to enjoy. I wake up every day feeling so fulfilled and very happy, but I do feel like there's more out there for me. Saint Beauty is always going to be my passion. Helping others feel beautiful and things like that are very important to me. But I'm going to put a pin in that. I don't exactly know the answer yet. This is all just still so new and fresh for me. And I'm not trying to hurry it along and figure out where I'm destined to go. But I'm open to anything. I love podcasts so much. So I've often thought to myself, I mean, I don't by any means consider myself a wordsmith by any means, but I'm like, am I capable of that? Like, I do feel like I have something to offer, but I'm gonna just put a pin in that and I'm just along for the ride at this point. I seriously don't know. If you figure it out before me, let me know.
we should put a pin in our next podcast, and we should catch up in 6 months from now or a year from now and see where you are. You should definitely have a podcast.
Oh my
gosh. It's something that even if you just like leading and mentoring and having those conversations and helping and impacting. So even if it's a 5-minute spiel that comes out of your mouth that can change somebody, if that is recorded and hosted on your podcast, especially on your beautiful website now that you have, we can just create a dedicated, podcast page right there. It's already done. It's already in the works. And, just that little bit of impact. Well, it doesn't mean that you need to have people on, or you have to sit down for an hour and you have to have this big studio set up. I mean, even myself, I'm just still sitting here with a podcast mic. I don't have the full, start flying people in. That's what I like to do. That's taking your podcast to the next level. But for the most part, if you have value and you have something to share and you feel that it could impact somebody, even if it's one person, it's definitely, worth looking into.
I actually wrote this quote down. So what I do is I put earbuds in my ears, and I usually try to do personal development and exercise together. Health and fitness are very important to me, and I don't want to have to choose between my mind or my body. So sometimes I'll do them together. But I wrote this quote down from a podcast the other day, and it is, we're doing a disservice to others by not sharing what we love that can change their life. And that is just, to me, that's such a powerful statement. And I try to
say it again, Chelsi.
We are doing a disservice to others by not sharing what we love that can change their life. And I think if you can lead with that mentality in whatever you're doing, I think if we always make it about others and how we can serve, serving is just selling through solving a problem. And I always love to use the word serve whenever I can, because it just feels better, right? But serving is selling. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this was so great.
This was awesome. I am so excited. Thank you so much for coming on here, chatting with us, sharing your journey, sharing your story. Where can people find you? I'm going to put it all in the comments anyways, but where can people find you to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram as just Chelsi. It's CHELSI.Wooten, WOOTON. And I now have a beautiful website, and it's just ChelsiWootenBeauty.com. So those are 2 ways that you can find me. I would love to connect in any way possible.
Perfect. If you guys want a glow and want to be mentored and led, you have to hit up Chelsi's Instagram. Check out her tutorials, her reels, her content. I absolutely love it. I'm always watching it, and you're always popping up in my feed. So that means you're consistent. You're doing the do. So thank you so much, Chelsi. I wish you guys nothing, you and your family, nothing but the best, and to just grow and keep on impacting more and more lives into your team and everybody. So thank you again. And thank you guys for listening in. Until next time, this is your host, Amber, from the Behind Her Boom podcast. And thanks again, guys. That might need to be cut.
No, that was perfect.
That was great.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Yes. You never know how it's going to go, how it's going to be. It's, you just go with the flow. I think it was fantastic.
I did too.
Yeah.
I had my notes up here and it was like, I love the fact that you hardly even asked me a question, but yet I still was able to answer them all.
Yeah, and because you had them up there, you were never like looking down. I actually did a podcast with one girl, and she was like, and then she would come up and like, stop reading.
Yeah, so I do this a lot. So I hate the phrase like fake it till you make it, but what's a better way of saying that?
That's exactly what it is. It's fake it till, I don't know what else to say. It's fake it till you make it. I used to buy clothes and keep the tags on them and return them just to come out and do shoots and whatever, just to put on that persona until until you don't have to anymore.
I know.
So
So that's what I do on my Monday night calls a lot. So basically it's whatever personal development I've listened to that day that was impactful to me. I freaking repeat it. I mean,
yeah.
it's like, I'm ready to be at the point where like, I have my own like one-liners, but for right now, I'm just borrowing those.
Yeah, you borrow them. That's how I built my podcast, the content on my social media. They always say somebody else has already done it, so why go out and reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to go out and copy the content. If you're taking a quote, you're letting them know I pulled this quote from this person and it's incredible and I'm sharing it. But at the same time, if you go and you see another Seint beauty artist and they're doing amazing content and they're offering content, you just go and reinvent that content. I mean, you change up, personalize a little bit, but you're serving your audience. You might as well give them what's working, what's creating momentum, what people are loving to see and hear. So yeah,
Absolutely.
don't reinvent the wheel. It's just way more.
I know, you're right. You're so right. What network marketing company were you with?
I was with Monat. My sister was one of the very first 3 people actually that joined Monat in Canada when it launched in Canada like 8 years ago.
Okay.
So, and I was pregnant for Zayden at the time. And I was just like, there's no way I'm not selling shampoo. Like I was loving what I was doing. And I also knew I was going to have a year of mat leave that I thought was going to last forever. So, but when Zayden was I was about, I think it was 3 or 4 months that my mat leave was going to end. And I watched her get a $10,000 check. She got a trip to Hawaii and then she earned the Cadillac. And I thought, nobody actually gets the Cadillac. Like you never see Mary Kay in the pink Cadillacs, Right. So it was so close to home and she was in social services. So it's not like she was a seller. And I just thought, I got to try this and do this. And I jumped on to Monat and quickly realized that she had taken my entire network because she had, worked that business. And I mean, my mom was a VIP, everybody was into that. So then my husband actually got into marketing and sales and was taking some courses and learning. And that's when Facebook was a real thing. And he actually ran an ad for me when we launched into the UK. And I brought on 11 market partners in 1 month from the UK, sitting at home with my little guy, and the team were like, what are you doing? What's Amber doing? And I'm like, shit, I'm doing it all online. I had nobody. I was living in Alberta at the time, and I had nobody from my team in Alberta. Everybody was in the States and they were in the UK, and I was growing. So I hit 6 figures. I earned the founder shares and I got my Cadillac. And I worked it for about 2.5 years. But then we started building AK Social House and we were serving Monat at the time.
Wait,
and
are you a core founder of AK Social House?
My husband owns it. Yes. So now
you're the A, he's the K.
Oh, I like that. No, he actually just goes by AK. He's tattooed AK. He's always just been AK, and he built AK Social House. And then we moved to the US, and I've like literally taken it over. Like I own it, and I run a team of, there's 14 of us. I have a team of content creators, graphic designers, web developers.
Okay, I didn't know it was all you.
The last step that I have not done yet is to have anybody get on and actually take a call to take like a demo. It's only ever been me or my husband. And that's like the one piece that I'm like, I connect with people. I've been in network marketing. It makes sense. But then when you come in, you get a system. We have our web developer, Cecilia, she builds everything out. We have our copywriters that builds everything out. And then on Social Savvy Mama on my Instagram, it's just providing, that stupid name. It's just providing, I can't stand it. People think I work savvy. I'm like, I'm not that savvy. And I can't get rid of it because then I got like the check mark and I run so many paid ads through there that it would like delink everything. But I'm in the process of doing it because we now run a whole media side and we're doing like local events, media division, like a media division in Orange County. And now we just started a reality TV series. Do you know DKW? DKW Salon. It's an owner of hair extensions in Orange County.
No, but I'm interested.
Well, if you look them up and then you look up Danielle K. White, and you
Okay.
look at like her last dozen pieces of content, it's all us. My husband's been like working with her husband, and now we're creating like a reality TV series of them. My team is going in and shooting all their content, and we're in the process of launching their show. It'll be like a vlog on YouTube. It'll get picked up by a network, but that's not what they want. They want to just have full full connections to it. So
No, I do know her. I follow her.
yes, I'm at her home every Tuesday directing my team to like shoot all their content. So this is like, so we have like the AP Social Division, which is all to network marketers and growing and scaling systems through systems. And then we have a media team where we do micro content. We'll launch your podcast. We'll take your podcast, chop it up into micro content to get it out there. And now there's this whole new thing that we're going to be exploring and putting it out there by the end of this year. And that could be like it could be a whole new thing. Because think of all these like network marketers who like are making so much money. They have so much of like a tax thing that they want to show. Or we know a lot of Monate market partners that are making like multiple 7 figures, and they want to showcase their life. Like, so if you come in and have a crew that comes in and records and create all this micro content to really have like a day in life of, you're not just Monate, but you're also a business owner. You know, your husband does this, you get your kids, and just show all the dynamics. So there's just another area of that. Yeah.
Actually recently saw the Danielle and her husband's podcast. And I shared a snippet of it with
The
my
Date
husband.
Your Wife podcast? We shoot all that.
Yeah, yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the one he said about how you need content of your wife. That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Oh yeah, you need some content. Oh my God, it was so funny because I'm like in the background trying not to laugh through some of these things. It's really hard. And then I brought it home, and my husband's like, "See, it's not a bad thing that I need content." I'm like,
You're like,
I need
okay. Yeah. You're like, get me all liquored up first.
Yeah, I need some booze. I need a spray tan. I need a little bit more work. Give me like some booty. I'll be good. I'll give you all the content you need.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Hey, before I forget, tell me I'm gonna just send you some stuff. What's your address, your full address?
Oh my goodness, you don't have to.
Well, just do it.
Okay.
I have so much stuff.
Send me what you want. I'm gonna buy stuff anyways. It's 1212, and then it's Pompeii, Pompeii. And then there's no street or anything. It's just 12 Pompeii, and it's Irvine in California, 92606.
Are you saying Irvine?
Yeah, Irvine, Irvine.
And what was the zip code?
92606.
And tell me your last name.
Oh, ALRI, F like Frank, AI.
What's your husband? Where's he from?
So this is like a whole nother backstory. He's originally Syrian. He grew up in Abu Dhabi, but he's been like all through like the war in Syria. His dad lost everything, built his whole home and everything there. So he's on this whole mission behind AK Social House to serve and to help and to build this foundation that's going to help women and children in Syria. But now he's trying to like switch the focus to human trafficking, and that just seems to be this big thing that he wants to focus on. So now we're we're in the process with this other partnership to embed it in our system, so that when you invest in us and you work with us, like a portion, it'd be 2% or 5% will actually go to help with human trafficking. It'll come right out of our packages. Yeah.
I love that so much. Okay. So what's the best way? Okay. Cause I've been contemplating this. I secretly want to keep you and your services to myself.